Jason's shocking discovery. The mask behind the mystery at Five Poppies Resort. The Croatian coastline shimmered under the Mediterranean sun as Jason Morgan adjusted his lightweight blue suit, trading his signature leather jacket for something more befitting a wealthy resort guest. The Five Poppies Dalmatia Resort and Spa stood before him like a luxurious fortress, its pristine white buildings cascading down toward the azure waters of the Adriatic Sea. For weeks, Jason had been haunted by that fleeting glimpse at the Paris airport, a woman who looked exactly like Britt Westburn, the woman he thought he'd lost forever to the hook's deadly blade. His phone call to the resort's concierge, Pascal, had confirmed what his instincts already knew. That voice in the background, so familiar yet impossibly real, belonged to Britt. Now, as he stepped through the resort's elegant lobby with its poppy-themed decor, Jason felt the familiar weight of determination settling over his shoulders. He was here to find answers, to uncover the truth behind what appeared to be an elaborate deception. The hunt begins. Jason's investigation at the Five Poppies proved more challenging than anticipated. The resort operated with the discretion expected of an establishment, catering to wealthy international clientele. But Jason's years of experience had taught him how to navigate such obstacles. He observed the staff patterns, noted the restricted areas, and most importantly, tracked the movements of one particular guest who matched Britt's description perfectly. The woman kept to a strict routine: early morning walks through the resort's botanical gardens, afternoon sessions in what appeared to be a private medical facility within the resort grounds, and evenings spent in careful isolation. She moved with Britt's characteristic confidence, yet there was something subtly different about her mannerisms. Jason's trained eye caught the small discrepancies, a slight hesitation in her step, a different way of holding her shoulders, gestures that seemed almost rehearsed. For 3 days, Jason maintained his surveillance from a distance, gathering intelligence about the resort's layout and the mysterious medical research facility that seemed connected to Professor Henry Dalton's work. The pieces of a larger puzzle were slowly coming together: the WSB's interest in the location, the presence of dangerous international players like Jens Sidwell, and now this woman who bore an uncanny resemblance to Britt Westburn. The confrontation. The breakthrough came on the 4th evening, when Jason positioned himself along the woman's usual walking path through the resort's moonlit gardens. As she approached the secluded area near the resort's private beach, Jason stepped out of the shadows, his voice cutting through the warm Croatian night air. "Hello, Britt." The woman froze, her back still turned to him. For a long moment, neither moved. Then slowly, she turned around, and Jason found himself staring into eyes that were unmistakably familiar, yet somehow wrong. The face was perfect, every feature exactly as he remembered, but something indefinable was missing. The spark, the defiant spirit that had drawn him to Britt, seemed muted somehow. "Jason," she said, and even her voice carried that same subtle wrongness. "I wondered when you'd find me. Did you really think you could hide forever?" Jason took a step closer, his detective instincts on high alert. "Everyone thinks you're dead. Your mother mourned you. She cremated what she thought was your body." The woman who looked like Britt smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Death can be useful. Sometimes it's the only way to disappear completely." Jason studied her face intently, looking for the micro-expressions he'd learned to read during their time together. What he saw instead was a careful performance, flawlessly executed, but lacking the authenticity of genuine emotion. His hand moved almost unconsciously toward his jacket, where he kept a small knife for emergencies. "The unmasking. You're good," Jason said quietly, circling her slowly like a predator sizing up its prey. "The resemblance is perfect. The voice, the mannerisms, someone trained you well. But you're not Britt." The woman's composure slipped, for just a fraction of a second, a flash of something like fear crossing her features. "Jason, I don't know what you're talking about. It's me. It's really me." "No," Jason said with deadly certainty, "it's not." In one swift motion, Jason grabbed the woman's wrist and spun her round, his other hand reaching for what he suspected was there. His fingers found the edge of what felt like an incredibly sophisticated mask, just below her hairline. The woman struggled, but Jason's grip was iron strong. "Let's see who you really are," he growled, beginning to peel away, what revealed itself to be one of the most realistic prosthetic masks he'd ever encountered. The woman, whoever she truly was, fought desperately, but Jason's determination was absolute. With a sound like tearing silk, the mask came away, revealing underneath a face that was completely unfamiliar. The woman who stood before him now had sharp, angular features, dark hair instead of Britt's lighter shade, and eyes that burned with an intelligence that was entirely her own. The revelation. "My name is Phoebe," the woman said, her voice now carrying a slight accent that sounded Eastern European. She stood straighter now, no longer attempting to mimic Britt's posture. "And you've just compromised a mission that's taken months to establish." Jason held the incredibly realistic mask in his hands, studying its construction with professional appreciation even as his mind raced with questions. "WSB?" he asked. Phoebe neither confirmed nor denied his suspicion, but her silence spoke volumes. "You need to walk away, Jason. Pretend you never saw me. Pretend this conversation never happened. Not until you tell me why you're wearing Britt's face." Jason's voice carried an edge of menace that had made stronger people back down. "What kind of operation requires impersonating a dead woman?" Phoebe's jaw tightened with resolve. "The kind that could save lives. The kind that's classified at levels you don't have clearance for. The kind that I can't discuss with a civilian, no matter how resourceful that civilian might be." Jason stepped closer, the mask still in his hands, serving as evidence of the deception. "Where is she? Where is the real Britt?" For the first time since the unmasking, Phoebe's professional composure cracked slightly. "I can't tell you that. Even if I wanted to, even if I thought you deserved to know what you might, I can't. This operation is too important, and there are too many lives at stake." The standoff. The Croatian night air seemed to crackle with tension as Jason and Phoebe faced each other in the garden. Around them, the Five Poppies resort continued its facade of peaceful luxury, unaware of the drama playing out in its shadows. In the distance, Jason could hear the sound of waves against the rocky coastline and the faint music drifting from the resort's evening entertainment. "You know I'm not going to just walk away," Jason said, his tone matter-of-fact. "You know I'm going to keep digging until I find answers." Phoebe nodded grimly. "I assumed as much. Your reputation precedes you, Mr. Morgan, but I'm hoping I can appeal to whatever sense of justice drove you here in the first place. This mission isn't about deception for its own sake. It's about stopping something much worse, such as the kind of biological weapons research that could make what Jerry Jacks did to Port Charles look like a minor inconvenience." Phoebe said quietly, "The kind of research that certain international players would kill to get their hands on. The kind that requires deep cover infiltration to stop." Jason felt the weight of her words, but his personal investment in finding Britt remained paramount. "That still doesn't explain why you need to wear her face. There are dozens of other covers you could have used." Phoebe was quiet for a long moment, weighing her words carefully. Britt Westburn was uniquely positioned to access certain elements of this operation. Her background, her connections, her medical expertise, they made her the perfect candidate. When she became unavailable, the mission required someone who could step into her role seamlessly. "Became unavailable," Jason repeated flatly. "Is she alive or dead, Phoebe?" The question hung in the air between them like a challenge. Phoebe met his gaze steadily, but Jason could see the conflict playing out behind her eyes, the tension between professional duty and what might have been personal sympathy. "I've told you everything I can," she said finally, "and more than I should have. The rest is classified, and no amount of intimidation or investigation is going to change that. This is bigger than your personal feelings, Jason. Bigger than Port Charles. Bigger than any one person's need for closure. The impossible choice." Jason stood in the moonlit garden, the sophisticated mask still in his hands, facing a woman whose true identity was as mysterious as her mission. Everything about the situation felt wrong: the deception, the secrecy, the way Phoebe's very presence seemed to mock his grief over losing Britt. Yet he could hear the sincerity in her voice when she spoke of stopping something worse, of protecting innocent lives. His phone buzzed with a text message, Sonny asking for an update on his search for Britt. Jason glanced at it without responding, his mind churning through the implications of what he'd discovered. If he exposed Phoebe's operation, He might be condemning countless innocent people to whatever fate her mission was designed to prevent. But if he walked away now, he might never learn the truth about what had happened to Britt. "There's something else you should know," Phoebe said quietly, seemingly reading his internal struggle. "Your being here has already compromised the operation to some degree. By tomorrow, my handlers will likely require me to abort this mission and establish a new cover elsewhere." The mask was too important to lose, but now that it's been exposed, she trailed off, but the implication was clear. Jason's investigation had consequences that extended far beyond his personal quest for answers. "How do I know you're really working for the good guys?" Jason asked. "How do I know this isn't all an elaborate cover story to hide something even worse?" Phoebe smiled grimly. "You don't. That's the nature of this business. You never really know who to trust. But I'll tell you this, the research being conducted at this facility has the potential to create biological weapons that could devastate entire populations. The people involved have connections to some of the most dangerous criminal organizations in the world. And if they succeed in their goals, Port Charles will be just the beginning." The weight of her words settled over Jason like a heavy cloak. He thought of Danny, of all the people back home who depended on him to make the right choices. He thought of Britt and the sacrifice she'd made to save Jocelyn from the hook. Would she have wanted him to pursue personal answers at the expense of protecting others? As if reading his thoughts, Phoebe added quietly, "She would have wanted you to do the right thing. From everything I've learned about Dr. Westburn, she was someone who put others' welfare above her own, even at the end." Jason looked down at the mask in his hands, an almost perfect recreation of Britt's face, down to the smallest detail. Someone had invested considerable time and resources in creating this deception. The question was whether that investment served justice or something far more sinister. The Croatian night stretched on around them, full of secrets and possibilities, as Jason faced perhaps the most difficult decision of his life. Next, we will delve into the buzzing speculation surrounding Brian Craig's potential return to the show as the beloved character Morgan Corinthos, fueled by recent hints and fan fervor. In the ever-evolving landscape of Port Charles, where characters often defy death and resurface in dramatic fashion, fans are once again abuzz with excitement over the possibility of Brian Craig reprising his role as Morgan Corinthos, Sonny's fiery son whose untimely demise left a void in many storylines. This speculation isn't new, but it gained fresh momentum after Craig's fleeting cameo in August 2024, where Morgan appeared as a hallucinatory figure during one of Sonny's intense manic episodes, offering guidance and emotional support that resonated deeply with viewers. Picture that poignant scene unfolding in a dimly lit room, with Morgan's spectral presence urging Sonny to confront his inner demons, perhaps sharing invented flashbacks to their father-son adventures, like late-night talks over coffee at the Corinthos compound or adrenaline-fueled escapades, evading mob threats. This brief appearance served as a tantalizing teaser, reigniting calls for a full-fledged comeback, especially since Morgan's explosive exit in 2016 via a car bomb intended for Julian Jerome that sent his vehicle plummeting off a cliff left no definitive body behind. A classic soap opera loophole that keeps hope alive. Fans have long theorized elaborate survival scenarios, such as Morgan washing ashore on a remote island, amnesiac and rebuilt by shadowy medical experts, only to return with a vendetta or a quest for redemption that could shake up dynamics with siblings, like Christina and Michael, or even spark romantic revivals with past flames. Building on this enthusiasm, Brian Craig has been dropping intriguing breadcrumbs across social media platforms, each one pieced together by eagle-eyed followers to form a picture of potential developments that could thrill the General Hospital faithful. These subtle nods started making waves in early July when fellow actors Steve Burton and Bradford Anderson, known for their roles as Jason Morgan and Damian Spinelli, reposted a cryptic screenshot from Craig's Instagram stories featuring the acronym IYKYK, short for if you know, this enigmatic message, perhaps accompanied by a shadowy photo of Port Charles landmarks or a throwback image of Morgan in action, sent the online community into a frenzy, with fans flooding comment sections with theories ranging from insider nods to upcoming auditions, to hints of storyline crossovers. One enthusiastic supporter replied, with unbridled hope, exclaiming something like, "This has to mean Morgan's coming back. Port Charles needs his chaos." Invented extensions to this buzz could include Craig following up with emoji-laden posts, such as a bomb emoji paired with a cliffside view, playfully alluding to Morgan's death while stirring speculation about explosive returns. These digital Easter eggs not only keep the conversation alive, but also highlight Craig's savvy engagement with the fanbase, turning casual scrolls into treasure hunts for clues about his next move in the soap world. The speculation reached a fever pitch when Brian Craig made a memorable appearance at the 2025 General Hospital Fan Club Weekend, an event brimming with autograph sessions, panel discussions, and heartfelt interactions that underscored his enduring popularity. During the gathering, held in a bustling convention hall adorned with show memorabilia, Craig took the stage to express his gratitude, later amplifying the moment on X with a post that read, "Just want to say thank you. I appreciate all the love and support all the General Hospital fans and the tabloids have given me. It will ultimately be up to at ABC_casting at ABC Network at Valentina Frank." This deferral to the network's decision-makers, including executive producer Frank Valentini, felt like an open invitation for advocacy, prompting fans to launch petition drives and social media campaigns with hashtags like Bring Back Morgan, complete with fan art depicting imagined reunions, such as Morgan crashing a Corinthos family dinner or confronting old rivals in intense standoffs. To add inventive flair, perhaps Craig shared behind-the-scenes anecdotes during the event, like reminiscing about filming high-octane chase scenes or improvising emotional monologues, which only fueled desires for more. By placing the ball in ABC's court, Craig has cleverly mobilized the community, turning passive viewers into active lobbyists eager to see Morgan's brash energy inject new life into ongoing plots, potentially intersecting with current arcs involving mental health struggles or family feuds, adding an unexpected layer to the narrative. Brian Craig's recent social media activity took a surprising turn when news emerged about Al Calderon's departure from the role of Javi on Days of Our Lives, prompting Craig to tweet playfully, "At Days of Our Lives, I hear you're in need of a Javi." This cheeky outreach, perhaps illustrated with a selfie in a dramatic pose mimicking soap opera flair, signals his eagerness to dive back into the daytime television arena, whether reprising familiar roles or exploring fresh characters. Combined with his other posts, it paints a portrait of an actor actively seeking opportunities, maybe even hinting at cross-soap cameos or multi-show contracts that could see him juggling appearances. For General Hospital devotees, this development stirs a mix of excitement and anxiety, imaging Craig slipping into a new persona on a rival series, perhaps as a charismatic newcomer with ties to Salem's intrigue, while secretly hoping it paves the way for negotiations that bring him home to Port Charles. Invented elements here might include fan forums debating mock audition tapes, or speculating on how Morgan's return could tie into broader ABC synergies, like guest spots that tease larger comebacks. Ultimately, the passionate General Hospital fanbase remains steadfast in their campaign for Brian Craig's return as Morgan Corinthos, recognizing his talent for portraying complex, tormented souls that add depth to the show's tapestry. While they continue to rally with online petitions, fan videos recreating iconic Morgan moments, and direct appeals to network executives, there's an understanding that if another soap opera snaps him up at Days of Our Lives or beyond, they'll gain a powerhouse performer capable of elevating any storyline. Craig's charisma, evident in his layered performances that blended vulnerability with volatility, would be a boon to any production, but for GH loyalists, nothing compares to the prospect of Morgan storming back into town, perhaps with a revamped backstory involving underground survival networks or alliances with unexpected characters like Nina or Ava. As the speculation simmers, viewers are left eagerly monitoring social media for the next clue, dreaming of the day Morgan Corinthos rises from the ashes to reclaim his place in Port Charles's chaotic heart. Stay tuned to ABC General Hospital for any official announcements. as these hints could soon transform into the comeback story of the year.